Hello, good rising, everybody. This is Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Training number 127 on this, what is today? Thursday. No, it's Friday. What am I talking about? It's Freedom Friday. And we're starting off with more interruptions here. I don't think the universe wants me doing Hangouts today for some reason, because the last one was a disaster. And now, for whatever reason, Google didn't want to allow me to invite anybody on the first attempt here, so I had to restart the whole thing. And now it's not allowing me to invite anybody and let them come in. Wait a minute. Here we go. We do have John making his way in here after all. What do you know? Google's going to cooperate after all. Good rising, John. How's it going over there?
Great. Yeah, weird morning with this Google Hangout stuff. I won't even get into that, but it is a good rising. It's Freedom Friday, one of my favorite days of the strong, and I'm glad to be here, Paul. And how's things going for you this morning?
Everything started out fantastic until 30 minutes ago, and I started the other Hangout, and everything blew up and went to crap. So anyway, over with that, done with that. As I said, Google tried to throw a little glitch in the system here, and for whatever reason, I had the Hangout all set up, but it wouldn't. It was stuck on the invitation, and I couldn't even get to the Hangout. I had to totally just start a whole new Hangout. So anyway, and then it wasn't inviting John, but here we are working in Freedom Friday, first day of the climax for this session.
Oh.
Yesterday was implementation day. Today is the first day of the 2-day climax before our grand celebration. And for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, go back and watch the last couple of shows. So what's on your mind this morning there, Mr. Luyster, as far as freedom goes?
Well, we left off Wednesday. We had further explained and ran through our new system for this 52 sessions of the year, how we break down each kind of day of the week to be allocated towards a specific end goal in mind for the day. The first day of the session, we have now termed Organization Day. Organization Day, right?
Yeah.
Which is the day we spend just to get our business and things organized and plans put into place and everything else. We then talked about day 2 of the session being Creation Day. Day you go out and you create new marketing pieces, create a new you, Creation Day. Then Wednesday.
I want to add just one thing to that, because we were really throwing out there the whole idea with Creation Day of being, all new stuff and all of that. But it's also Creation Day. You got organized on Monday. You set up a plan. Tuesday, you need to create the things that are going to be necessary to implement that plan as well, too. So you're going to have to be creating, not necessarily a lot of new stuff all the time, but you definitely want to focus some time towards that as well. But you're also going to be having to spend some time creating the things that are going to be required just for you to accomplish your goals that you set up during organization a day on Monday. So I wanted to make sure we got that sort of out there, that it's not just, freedom of the mind and use your imagination and come up with all brand new ideas and stuff. It's also, hey, get down to business and create the things that you need in order to allow you to accomplish what you want to accomplish on implementation and climax days.
Yes, I agree. That's a nice little piece to throw in. And then Wednesday is Preparation Day. This is the day to kind of spend on yourself, getting the banking done, getting the bills done, getting the grocery shopping done. You need a new outfit. This is a day you really should kind of devote to yourself, getting prepared to get through the rest of the week or the rest of the strong. And then you have 3 consecutive days where you're taking action, ending in a day of celebration, which is all about relaxing, enjoying life, celebrating the fact that you just got through another strong session. And so, Paul, we were talking about that, and we started to break down the Napoleon Hill time management system, where we basically said being that there's 24 hours in a day, you want to implement this plan or this organization to your life. How do you break down each day? And basically I laid out there that you should be getting 7 to 8 hours minimally of good, restful, peaceful, comfortable sleep. And then 8 hours of your day needs to be spent being productive for whatever it is that needs to get done that day, or whatever you're doing to earn a living, or whatever you're doing to build wealth or passive income. You spend 8 hours being productive towards those goals. And that leaves 8 hours left in the day. And we discussed how 3 hours are just going to get spent doing whatever, driving to and fro, going to the bathroom, having lunch, having breakfast, having dinner, yada, yada, leaving 5 hours of the day left. And I broke down the first hour being all about quiet meditation and a couple of different things you can spend during that hour meditating on. And that's kind of where we left off last Wednesday, and we had ran over time. And before we move forward, is there anything that you want to add in to all of that?
No, so you got 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of productivity, and what was the other ones? So where do we leave off at?
Oh, basically then you just got to realize that there's going to be about 3 hours out of that day that are just going to be spent doing the necessities, leaving you 5 hours of the day. And in Napoleon Hill's opinion, these 5 hours are really the most important, because these 5 hours you're working on yourself, you're working on your relationships, you're working on your relationship to the universe, to your friends. So basically, out of these 5 hours, what we had left off talking about on Wednesday's hangout is the fact that you should spend at least 1 hour a day trying to get in some quiet meditation. And during this hour, you're thinking about your definite major purpose. You're planning for it, or you are developing what it is if you don't have yet defined your definite major purpose. And don't get intimidated by that. You know, if you don't have a definite major purpose right now and you're thinking of, possibilities of what your purpose could be and they seem ridiculous, so what? Mine is gradually transformed and changed over the last 3 years since Paul and I began developing ourselves and getting into this personal development stuff. And the reason it's changed over 3 years is because I spend time thinking about it, and certain things come and go in life. It's never static, and it kind of every day you're growing in every way, and your perspective is changing, and so is your exact definite major purpose. Till it gets to a point where you really know what it is and you really have it defined. It's going to be something that evolves, and that's why it's so important to spend an hour in quiet meditation. Spend some time thinking about that, and include also in your hour of quiet meditation thinking about, being in an attitude of gratitude and just spending a few minutes each day being thankful for all the things you have. You want to spend each day thinking about the person you are and what some of your fears are and ways to overcome it. Also think about, during the things you can meditate on in this hour, is how you can create better harmony in all your relationships, and use this time to get in the habit of only focusing on the things that you desire. And we kind of left off with that, Paul, with the idea that you should never focus on or think about the things that you don't want, because the saying goes, what we focus on expands. And if you're thinking about things you don't want in your life, you're going to attract those things. It's just a natural law. So spending an hour of quiet meditation, 10 minutes of that time, getting in the habit of thinking of the things you want by only thinking about and meditating on the things you want. And that still leaves us 4 hours to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Quiet meditation. I spend about anywhere usually from 15 to 45 minutes of that quiet meditation time when I first wake up in the morning. And like we talked about, some people are better when they, get up and jump right out of bed and get into their routine of, a glass of water and exercise or whatever. And I'm good with that. on certain days. Sometimes that's what I want to do, and I will do that. But most days for me, I get some of that quiet meditation time in during those sort of twilight hours, you might call them, when you wake up and you're awake, but you're just laying there in bed. It's quiet. There's nothing going on around you, and maybe a little bit of bird chirping going on, maybe a little sunshine peeking through the window a little bit. It's a very good sort of enlightening time of the day for me that just brings me a lot of energy and thought, and focusing. The only problem is my thoughts a lot of times come from who knows where, and they're very unique and original thoughts. So I don't have a lot of time to really focus upon the 5 areas within the quiet meditation that I should spend that little 10-minute period upon. So that's kind of a hit or miss thing. I mean, I should probably find a little bit more time to have some focused thought towards those things. But I just wanted to throw that out there that, I mean, sometimes maybe first thing in the morning would be a good place, a good, nice, quiet place to grab yourself a cup of coffee, go sit on your back deck or something, listen to the birds chirping. Or if you're in the city, the motorcycles going down the road, whatever turns you on, you know what I mean? And maybe first thing in the morning is a good time to get that 1 hour in, is kind of what my point was trying to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just finding a comfortable time of day that works for you. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. That having a time of day that works for you, and even a comfortable environment to do it in. For me, it's kind of after these hangouts, after if I haven't done my exercises, I do affirmations that last about 20 minutes. And that, for me, kind of 20 minutes of my meditation, because in those affirmations, I'm reciting things about my definite major purpose. I have it written down. I read it out loud. I read out loud my why, for why that's my definite major purpose, my personal mission statement. Then I just run through positive affirmations to build self-confidence. And then I pray by I kind of pace around the house, and I think about, depends on the day, I think about things I'm thankful for. I think about people that I want to see prosper. I think about what I want to accomplish for the day. And, so about 20 minutes, that's how I do it. And affirmations for 20 minutes, and then kind of pacing around the house for 20 minutes. And sometimes for me, I like to put on music and just imagine my life by listening to music. So, for everybody, it's different, but you should be setting aside a minimum of 1 hour a day for meditation and quiet meditation, or however, it's everybody works, I think, in a different way. So whatever works for you to get that thinking time in.
And give us the 5 categories one more time.
Okay. Let me go back to my notes here. The 5 categories of that is plan for or develop your definite major purpose. You want to, be in contact with or pray to infinite intelligence, and just be in an attitude of gratitude and thank the universe or Jesus or God, whatever your flavor is, for all the great things that you have in your life. Then you want to spend some of this time doing, number 3, self-analysis, identifying your fears, confronting them, and thinking of ways to overcome them. Number 4 is you want to spend some time during this hour thinking about how you can create better harmony in all of your relationships. And then you want to spend some time in this hour focusing only on things that you desire.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then, as I was saying, that leaves us 4 hours left in the day. And another piece of the puzzle here is that you should be trying to get in the habit of spending 2 hours a day, dedicating that time to going above and beyond. Do something for somebody else outside of yourself without expecting anything in return. I can think of quite a few examples of what I mean here. One would be an old friend that may be going through a tough time. You know what? During this, you don't have to spend necessarily 2 hours on this friend, but maybe in this 2 hours, you put together a encouraging email, or just have a little text message conversation, or just pick up the phone and talk to this person for a few minutes. You know, one of the things that I did when I was in just recently is with this time, a friend of mine asked me if I can lend him my trailer or help him pick up some cabinets for a job he was doing. So it took me about 2 hours. I spent 2 hours out of my day. I picked them up, drove across town, and picked up the cabinets and delivered them for him. You know, doing things that go above and beyond, so that you're being in this habit of doing things for other people. And if you spend 2 hours a day, there's a lot of different things you can do, but just reaching out to, creating better harmony in your relationships, and just can't stress enough, going above and beyond, just being in that habit of doing for others without expecting anything in return. Anything you want to add into that, Paul?
It pretty much says it all. It's, I mean, this is the category of the extra mile, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like you said. I mean, it pretty much says it all right there. It's just really doing for others. You know, for 2 hours out of the day is doing for others, not focusing on yourself. Focusing on other people is really what it all comes down to.
Yes. And then there's 1 hour a day you should be spending studying and reading self-improvement. You know, we got to be students in life, and we've always got to be learning and growing. Otherwise, we're kind of hit a brick wall. We're kind of dying at that point if we're not. So, you know, in Napoleon Hill's time management system, he says you should be allocating an hour of your day to studying and reading self-development. Now, obviously, this system's going to work different with different people. As I said, one of the ways that I like to personally study self-development is a hangout like this. For me, this is kind of accomplishing a couple things. One of the things I'll get into next, but what this is accomplishing being on these hangouts is me overcoming a fear of being in front of a lot of people talking. Because when I'm here, I'm imagining myself inside of a crowd. In front of a crowd speaking. So I'm really trying to concentrate on not using ahs and ums. But this is accomplishing for me getting over one of my fears, and that's talking in front of people. Also, this is a self-development. What we talk about here on these hangouts is all about personal development. So for me, my hour a day is spent, maybe reading an article, watching a webinar, or even sitting down and journaling out some thoughts and ideas about my own personal development, or reading back through old notes from previous hangouts, from previous webinars and previous journals, So that's kind of how I spend my hour, but it's important that you spend an hour each day, like kind of working on learning and growing, studying personal development.
Yeah, and this could go a thousand different ways. You could use this time to practice a speech, in your room or your office or wherever, and just, stand up and speak out loud. And if you have a problem with a fear of, speaking in front of people, which most people have, because that's something that's been bred into us, social heredity over the years. It's just been coming down the line that, we're more and more shut in and less open to speaking with other people and in front of other people especially. And so, maybe you have something that you want to do. Ultimately, it involves talking to, whether it be a small group or a large group of people. Maybe your thing includes, maybe your hour, part of it is spent at a group like Toastmasters or something, to work on your speech patterns and talking in front of groups. Or maybe you spend this time reading a book, or there was something else that I was thinking of, and another interruption has just popped in, and that thought fleeted from me. So, but anyway, yeah, like I said, self-development could go a whole number of different ways. I know what it was. I know what I was going to say. Auto-suggestion. A little auto-suggestion could be classified as self-development. Now, that too could go into the quiet meditation time, but you could put a little bit of that into your 1 hour of self-development as well too. And telling yourself who you are and who you expect to be is how you actually become that person. So, auto suggestion for 10 minutes during that hour could be a big piece of that. So there's a lot of different ways this could go. And as far as the self-development goes, it could be sitting down with a coach for an hour. I mean, there's just so many different things you could do with this hour.
Absolutely. And there's so many kind of variations you can do with this whole time management system, because if you get creative and you think about it, Paul, you can really kind of multitask a lot of this stuff. Like we didn't cover the last hour, but I'm going to fall back and where I talked about there's 3 hours of the day that just get spent driving back and forth to work, just doing the things you have to do. You could double up that time with personal development. When you're driving, I know Paul loves to do this. I like to do this as well, is listen to audio, listen to personal development or a book on tape or something along those lines when you're driving. Then you're actually, you're doing more than just spending those 3 hours a day, like while you're cooking or cleaning up or doing household chores. You could be having an audio book or a self-development or a webinar on in the background. But
or you could be pushing that vacuum, just going, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. And then the other hour of the day, now to complete 24 hours, Napoleon Hill recommends that you get with your inner circle, you get with your mastermind, and you mastermind with your inner circle for about an hour a day. And for me, it's Paul, and we probably mastermind a total of like 4 hours a day because we're constantly on the phone with business and things like that. But you have an inner circle. You have people around you that are important, that are helping you grow and develop. And you want to make sure you're in that energy, in that mindset with those people talking every single day. If there's 5 people in your inner circle, you should spend about, 52 minutes or 12 minutes talking to each one minimum a day, an hour in your mastermind, getting with all your people. Oh, I was throwing it back to you, Paul.
Yeah, I was just, just got lost in a little bit of thought there. But yeah, I was actually just thinking about where I need to be utilizing that right there. And for us particularly, that's just something that you just brought to my mind, whether it's a 1 hour call for each one, or 3 of them for a 20-minute call. We should probably be thinking about spending 20 minutes, say just 20 minutes with a team member, and just going over something with them, every day and hit 3 people a day, and just kind of go on a rotation. And if we could call those guys and spend 20 minutes with them every day, they could probably get quite far pretty fast and help us get quite far pretty fast.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of it. So there you have it. We got through all the different pieces of a daily time management system, which sounds simpler than it is to stick to something like this and implement it. But, I challenge you for the next 30 days to think about this time management system and work on implementing it into your life. And you notice I didn't say, and try implementing it into your life. No, go out there and work on implementing something like this into your life, and just watch how you transform and you become just more productive. Because the reason why these 5 hours, these final 5 hours are more important than actually your productivity is because thoughts lead to feelings, lead to your actions, lead to your results. And these 5 hours are all about your mindset, the development of your mindset, taking control of your mindset, getting in the proper energy so that you're being productive at work for 8 hours. You feel so good and confident about your day that you're able to lay down and get restful 8 hours of sleep. And that's why I feel like these 5 hours are the most important. The hour of meditation, the 2 hours of going above and beyond for somebody, the hour of study into personal development and personal growth and self-reflection, and then the hour a day surrounding yourself by the people that bring out the positive energy in you. It's because it's your attitude determines your results. And the way to get the attitude that's needed is by spending 5 hours a day in these realms.
And you know what else that this 5 hours applies to as well, which I just recently was introduced to the inner workings of this, but and something that I want to explore further. But these 5 hours really also have a lot to do with the golden rule. And we all know what the golden rule is: do unto others as you would expect others to do unto you, or did you want others to do unto you. But it really goes further than that. And, you know, the golden rule has just been sort of just like everything else, you know, social heredity kind of programmed out of us. Not that, I mean, nobody lives by the golden rule, so to speak, but understanding what the golden rule really is. And I'll get into that. You know, obviously we don't have time to get into that today, but I definitely want to get into that on one of these hangouts very soon. And you'll see how, you know, this is not just, the golden rule is not really just about, you know, do unto others as you would want others to do unto you if the roles were reversed, but it's all about really bringing into your life what you want, because the law basically behind the golden rule is that, you know, you will, you know, one will reap what one sows. So if you're performing this 5 areas right here, and you're sowing these seeds right here out into the universe by going the extra mile for other people, masterminding, building yourself up with self-development and the quiet meditation pieces, you're sowing those seeds, therefore you will reap the reward of what that is right there. So twofold right there, what you talk about as you know, what this right here really develops is you know, putting out what you really are all about there, and being able to, you know, have in return what you know, what you want by giving what you want. Give what you want and you'll get what you want is pretty much what I'm trying to say, I think.
Doing it without the attitude, you know, without the expectations, because you've got to believe, you've got to have faith that what you put in, you'll get back out. So it's being in these habits of being in the service of others. You'll suddenly see how you're all of a sudden attracting the service of others. So these are, to me, are the very most important hours.
But you may have to struggle through a period of time during that, you know, like you said, you feel like when you're giving unto others, and then, you know, soon you'll feel others giving unto you, but you may have to struggle through a period of time. And this is the tough part, where you're giving unto others and you feel like you ain't getting shit back. You know, and you know what? You will get stuff back, but that's like the training session, I guess. You know what? Is this really who you are? Or are you a wannabe who's just going to do this for a little while and going, well, I've been doing this and I ain't getting nothing, so I'm done with that crap. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's about stickability, perseverance, commitment, moving forward. Well, Paul, you know, I'm kind of out of ideas for today. I feel that we've covered it all. So I'm going to toss it back to you to go ahead and give us your final thought and close us out of here.
My final thought is, fantastic job. That was excellent information. Way better than the last hangout. Although the other one was a little bit more fun, maybe. But anyway, no, just want to throw that out there. That no, that was just awesome. And this is you couple this piece with, you know, our strong session, and you can really make things happen. And with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind for at least 5 hours a day to whatever end I might desire. All right, everybody, we will see you back here on New Op Day of the next strong session.